Have you ever looked at a watch advertisement and wondered why the hands almost always point to the same time? Whether it's a luxury Swiss timepiece, a rugged sports watch, or an inexpensive everyday model, the display is remarkably consistent. Once you notice it, you begin to see it everywhere. In magazine ads, storefront displays, online product photos, and even inside watch catalogs. It almost feels too deliberate to be a coincidence. Some people believe the time marks an important moment in history, while others think it carries a hidden message known only to the watch industry. So why do watches usually show 10:10 in advertisements? The truth reveals how much thought goes into something most of us barely notice, and how tiny design choices can influence the way we see an object. Let's find out, right here, on History of Simple Things. Watches have come a long way from being simple tools for telling time. Early portable watches were expensive handcrafted items owned by royalty and the wealthy. As manufacturing improved during the Industrial Revolution, watches became more affordable and eventually turned into everyday necessities. Even after smartphones made it possible to check the time instantly, wristwatches remained popular because they had become something more than practical devices. They represented craftsmanship, personal style, tradition, and in many cases, status. Today, when someone buys a watch, they're often buying the design as much as the function. That means advertisements play an important role in making each model look as attractive as possible. Creating a compelling photograph of a watch is surprisingly challenging. The face is small, the crystal reflects light easily, and many watches contain intricate details that manufacturers want customers to appreciate. Long before digital editing made these tasks easier, photographers experimented with different ways of presenting a watch clearly. They soon realized that the position of the hands could completely change the appearance of the dial. Certain times covered important features, while others made the face feel crowded or unbalanced. Sometimes the hands blocked the company logo, while other positions hid date windows, chronograph subdials, or decorative elements that helped distinguish one model from another. Over time, photographers discovered that a handful of hand positions consistently produced cleaner, more appealing images. As people began noticing that so many advertisements displayed the same time, various myths started circulating online. One of the most common claims is that 10:10 honors Abraham Lincoln or John F. Kennedy, suggesting the time matches the moment they died. Others believe it marks the invention of the wristwatch or commemorates an important achievement in horological history. While these stories are certainly memorable, none of them are supported by historical evidence. The timelines often don't match, and no major watch company has ever stated that the display was chosen to honor a historical event. Experts in watch history generally agree that these explanations are simply modern myths. They persist because people naturally enjoy finding hidden meanings behind patterns. The real reason is much more practical. Around 10:10, the hour and minute hands form a wide, balanced shape that naturally frames the upper portion of the watch face. This arrangement leaves the manufacturer's logo, which is usually placed beneath the 12 o'clock marker, fully visible instead of covering it. It also keeps important features like date windows, chronograph dials, moon phase displays, and power reserve indicators easy to see. Rather than cluttering the dial, the hands guide the viewer's attention toward the center of the watch while showcasing its overall design. For advertisers, this creates a photograph that feels organized, elegant, and visually pleasing. It's a simple solution, but one that works remarkably well across thousands of different watch designs. There may also be a subtle psychological benefit to this arrangement. Humans are naturally good at recognizing faces, even in everyday objects that were never meant to resemble one. This phenomenon, known as pareidolia, helps explain why we sometimes see expressions in clouds, cars, or household appliances. At approximately 10:10, the watch hands resemble raised eyebrows or open arms, creating an impression that many people subconsciously associate with positivity or welcome. By comparison, hands pointing downward can resemble a frown, giving the watch a less inviting appearance. Researchers have suggested that this effect may contribute to the overall appeal of the display, although it is generally considered a secondary reason rather than the primary one. Despite its popularity, 1010 is not a strict rule that every manufacturer follows. Some companies position the hands at 10:08, 10:09, or 10:11 to better fit the layout of a particular model or avoid covering unique design elements. Smartwatches may display completely different screens, while certain advertisements intentionally choose another time for artistic reasons. Even so, the familiar upward-pointing arrangement remains the industry standard because it consistently presents a watch in its best light. What began as a practical choice by photographers eventually became a convention adopted by brands around the world. New companies entering the market often follow the same approach simply because it has proven effective for generations of watch advertising. The next time you pass a watch display or browse an online catalog, take a closer look at the hands. Chances are they'll still be pointing to around 10:10, not because of a secret code or a forgotten moment in history, but because decades of experience showed that this simple arrangement presents a watch beautifully. It highlights the brand, keeps important details visible, and creates a balanced image that naturally draws the eye. It's a reminder that successful design is often built on countless small decisions that most people never notice. The time shown on a watch advertisement may seem insignificant, but it reflects years of careful observation about how people see, interpret, and appreciate the objects around them. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.